Hello everyone, in this example video we will compare a standard scene with an amplified scene, discuss some of the benefits gained by using Amplify Texture 2, and we will also look into specific performance and compression stats. We will be using a mesh terrain made in World Machine, which by the way fully supports multi-tile UV geometry and tile texture exports. It's a simple model mesh divided into 64 tiles. Each tile has one diffuse and one normal, both at 4K, bringing the total number of textures used to 128. Each texture contains approximately 64 megabytes of uncompressed raw data, bringing the total amount of textures to approximately 8 gigabytes. We will not be using any type of Unity terrain in this demo. The standard scene will use the XC5 compression for the textures, and the amplified scene will use the Amplify Texture 2 proprietary compression system. We are a small team and building large demos is quite work intensive. Using datasets such as the one presented in this video allows us to quickly demonstrate the capabilities of this technology. Without Amplify Texture 2, standard scenes are limited by the total amount of video memory available. This will commonly result in texture reduction, stuttering texture swaps, and even crashes. At its core, Amplify Texture 2 eliminates this common limitation. By virtualizing textures and streaming accordingly to what is required for any specific frame, you will achieve zero texture loading times, improved stability, and higher levels of fidelity previously impossible without this technology. In short, that's what Amplify Texture 2 does for your project. Of course, it does a bit more than just that. Without wanting to make this video too long, we would like to invite you to visit our website amplify.pt for more information. As you can see on the right side, Amplify Texture 2 has already loaded the scene, while the standard scene on the left is still struggling to load 64 tiles with 128 4K textures. Keep in mind that unlike Amplify Texture 2, standard scenes will occupy both system and video memory with texture data. The performance differences are not immediately apparent, but if you look closely you will notice that the draw call count is considerably lower on the Amplify Texture 2 side, a direct result of using multi-tile UVs. In addition, the main thread time and the frames per second are stable throughout the entire application, and the memory used is fixed. On the standard size, looking at another camera view, you can see that since it has to draw a larger number of tiles, the standard version is struggling to manage all the texture data required. Amplify Texture 2, however, has no problem streaming the necessary data. Amplify Texture 2 is very flexible. It not only allows you to allocate specific amounts of video memory for the streaming process, it also allows you to configure its quality and compression settings, always with a low RAM footprint. Let's do a quick test and go from 64 tiles to 128 tiles, meaning 256 4K textures coming to approximately 16 GB of raw data. That might sound like a lot, but it's only a small fraction of what can be done with Amplify Texture 2. 256 4K textures comes down to 64 8K textures or even 16 16K textures, a number that you can easily surpass with our streaming technology. And no doubt you can quickly get there if you take into account all the different textures used in your project, such as diffuse, normals, specular, occlusion, or even displacement maps. Amplify Texture 2 has no problems loading 128 tiles, stable frame rate, low main thread times, and fixed video memory. The standard scene on the left has hit its limit, so to speak, and it's now experiencing the usual memory-related limitations. It's struggling to load the scene, and with an extremely high main thread time, it will eventually crash. Let's load up 256 tiles with Amplify Texture 2. And now 512 tiles. Provided that your project is properly constructed, the Amplify Texture 2 stream prepass has a predictable and negligible performance cost. The overall gains will be extremely beneficial for any type of project. Do keep in mind that Amplify Texture 2 will not optimize or enhance the performance of poorly optimized projects already running at extremely low frame rates. If the low performance is caused by heavy texture loads, there is a chance it might do something for your project, but by all means try it before you buy it, and see for yourself what it can do for your project. Semi-automated conversion tools are also included in the fully functional trial version.